questions 21 to 25 on the 2004 Grade 7 Gauss Math Contest. In the diagram, the rectangular floor plan of the first floor of a house is shown. The living room and the laundry room are both square. The areas of 3 of the rooms are shown on the diagram. The area of the kitchen is. So, since the living room is a square and its area is 16, we know that since you figure out the area of a square by multiplying its sides, x times x, if x squared in this case is 16, the side lengths are 4. So this is 4, this is 4, this is 4, and that's 4. In a very similar way, the laundry room is also a square. And if that side has a side length of y, and therefore the area is 4, that means y is equal to 2. So this is 2, this is 2, that is 2, and that's 2. Okay? So now this is a rectangle, so that means if from here to here is 2, that means from here to here is also 2. And in a very similar way, if from here to here was 4, then this is also 4, right there. Okay, so I hope you're convinced of that. Now let's turn our attention to the dining room. They tell you that the area is 24. Now if I know this side, it helps me, right? Well, I don't, but I can figure it out. Let's just call that z. Well, how did I get 24? You multiply z times 4, right? Length times width. It's a rectangle. And in our case, it's 24. So solving for z, you get 6. So z is equal to 6. Okay? So if z is 6 and this is 4, that means the entire length from there to there is 10. So this whole thing is 10. If that whole thing is 10, but this was 2, then that means from here to here is 10 minus 2, or 8. Okay? So I hope so far everything's fine, no confusion. Now let's figure out the area of the kitchen. Well, it's length times width. Our length is 8, our width is 2, so the area of this kitchen is 2 times 8, which is 16. So number 21, the answer is B. The entire contents of a jug can exactly fill 9 small glasses and 4 large glasses of juice. The entire contents of the jug could instead fill 6 small glasses and 6 large glasses. If the entire contents of the jug is used to fill only large glasses, the maximum number of large glasses that can be filled is. So the first sentence in the question basically means that jug, J, is the equivalent in terms of its volume to 9 small glasses and 4 large glasses. All right? And then the second sentence, they tell you that same jug, the volume, the amount of juice in it, is equivalent to 6 small glasses and 6 large glasses. And they want you to figure out how many large glasses, just large glasses, can it fill. All right, we have 2 equations, and we can work with those 2 equations to get this in any way you feel comfortable. Since my final answer does not include any s's, I'm going to try to eliminate the s's from these 2 equations. And that can be done pretty easily. You just have to multiply the first one by 6, and then subtract that from the second equation multiplied by 9. If you do that, you'll get rid of the s's, and you'll just have an equation with j's and l's. So let's see, that becomes 9j minus 6j on the left side. On the right side, it becomes 9 times 2, so 54s plus 54l, minus 6 times this guy here, so 54s minus 24l. So this 9j minus 6j is 3j, And as planned, the S's cancel, and I'm just left with 54 minus 24, which is 30L. And now I indeed have an equation with just J and L. But we don't want 3J, we want just 1J. So divide both sides by 3, and you get 10L. And that's exactly what they wanted. 10 goes here. So the jug basically can fill 10 large glasses. So number 22, the answer is C. It takes Sharon 1 hour to drive the 59 kilometers from her home to her office. Her drive includes 20 minutes on a highway and 40 minutes on city roads. If her average speed when she is on city roads is 45 kilometers per hour, the average speed in kilometers per hour at which she drives on the highway is. So speed basically is distance over time. And in her case, her speed is 59 kilometers over 1 hour, which is essentially 59 kilometers per hour. But that is the entire average, or the entire journey. We are not looking for that. We are looking for just her highway journey. That's what we want to figure out, her speed on the highway. So let's break this up into highway and the main road, or the city roads. And let's deal with that individually. So let's start with the road, because I think we've given the most information with that. When she's on the road, her speed is 45 kilometers per hour. That's given in the question. And they tell you in the question that she's on the road for 40 minutes. So the time is 40, but I'm going to switch that to hours. It's very important because we're dealing with hours, kilometers per hour, right? So 40 minutes is 40 over 60 hours, or 2 over 3. All right? This allows us to figure out the distance, because we can use this formula right here. So my speed is 45. My distance, I don't know, but my time is 2 over 3. Cross multiply and you'll get 45 times 2 over 3 is D, and therefore D looks like 2 times 45, 90 divided by 3 is 30. All right? So she drove 30 kilometers on the road. The total amount that she drives is 59. So her distance on the highway is 59 minus 30, right? 30 was on the road, and therefore the remaining is on the highway, and that's 29. And then now we can figure out speed, because we have distance and we have time. Speed is distance over time, 29 kilometers. What is her time? On the highway, question tells you, she spends 20 minutes. So 20 over 60, that's how many hours. So this looks like 29 over 1, cross multiply, or invert and multiply. We got 20 over 6 is basically 1/3, right? So 1 over 3, if you invert it, it becomes 3 over 1. So we have 29 times 3, which is 87. And that's, of course, kilometers per hour, because our units were kilometers and hours. So there you go. Her speed on the highway is 87 kilometers per hour. So number 23, the answer is C. In the Gauss 2004 Olympics, there are 6 competitors and 8 events. The top 3 competitors in each event receive gold, silver, and bronze medals, respectively. There are no ties at the Gauss Olympics, and no competitor can win more than 1 medal on the same event. Each competitor scores 5 points for each gold medal, 3 points for each silver medal, and 1 point for each bronze medal. If one of the competitors had a total of 27 points, what is the maximum number of silver medals she could have won? So, 5 times the number of gold, plus 3 times the number of silver, plus 1 point times the number of bronze, is 27 for her. Now we have to figure out what is S, and we have to figure out what is the maximum value for S. Okay, so how many events do we have? We have 8 events, right? So the maximum silvers that she could win is 8 if she wins a silver in every single event. All right, let's see what happens. But 8 is not even one of the answer choices, right? So no point doing it. But we can just for fun. 3 times 8 basically means 24. And that obviously doesn't match up. And there's no way we can get it to match up, right? So S equals 7. That's also not one of the answer choices. But if it was, 3 times 7 is 21. And that also doesn't equal 27. And even if you had another gold medal, it would still not equal 27. It would still be 26. All right, no problem. How about S is equal to 6? Let's see. If S is equal to 6, that means she got 3 points for each of those silver medals, and that means 18. Now, we want 27. Is there any way that we can get an additional, 9 points to get up to 27? Let's see. She won 6 silvers, so how many events are left? There's 8 events. In 6 of those events, she won a medal, so there's 2 events left. So if there's 2 events left, that means we have to somehow figure out, can we get another 9 points with 2 events? Well, let's see. If I win 2 golds, that's 10 points, 5 and 5. Ooh, that'll be 28. No good. If I get 5 and 1, a gold and a bronze, that will be 5 and 1. That's 24. It's not going to work. So S equals 6, no good. All right, so this one's gone. Let's try S equals 5. So she gets 3 points for each silver medal, and that is 15. And we want 27. So we have to somehow figure out in the remaining 3 events, because there's 8 events and she's competed in 5, won medals in 5. In the remaining 3 events, can we somehow manage to get up to 27 with 15 as the point total from the silver medals? We need another 12, right? 12 points. How about she gets a gold, a gold, a gold? Oop, that's too much. That's 30. All right. Let's go back, figure out any other possibility. How about if she gets 2 golds and a bronze? That's 26. So we're getting close. But unfortunately, that's it. We run out of options. So S is not 5. All right, no problem. Let's try S equals 4. If S is 4, the number of silver medals, she gets 3 points times 4 silvers, gives her 12 points. But we want 27. Can we get up to 27 in the remaining 4 events? I think so. If we have a gold, and a gold, I think this should do it. 15 plus 12 is indeed 27. So there you go. See, she basically can get 27 points with 3 gold medals and 4 silver medals. Okay? And the point total will be 5 points for each of those 3 gold medals plus 3 points for each of those 4 silver medals. And 5 times 3 is, of course, 15. 3 times 4 is 12. And 15 plus 12 is indeed 27. So S equals 4 is the maximum number of silver medals that she could have won to get a total of 27 points. So 24, the answer is D. A grid with 10 rows and some number of columns is made up of unit squares as shown. A domino can be placed horizontally or vertically to exactly cover 2 unit squares. There are 2,004 positions in which the domino could be placed. The number of columns in the grid is. So we have a domino, and that domino is going to be placed on this grid. And initially, let's try looking at what happens when you put domino in the rows. So you're putting the domino like this. So initially in this direction. And we can probably do it like that, right? That's the first one, like that, and then so on. We're going in a horizontal fashion. So let's make a little table. We've got row number 1, correct? How many ways can I put the domino? Well, it would definitely help you if we knew the number of columns. We don't know the number of columns. That's what we actually have to figure out. But let's just say the number is n. Okay? Well, if you have n, then the dominoes can be placed there, 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 like that, and so on. How many ways can that be done? N minus 1. Now, if you say, well, I'm not convinced of that, no problem. Just make a little, like I always do, just make a little miniature diagram for yourself and figure it out. So let's say I make a little miniature diagram for myself just to see what it could be like. And in this one I chose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 as my n. Well, how many times can I place that domino? 1, correct? 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, 6, and 7. 7 times I could place that domino if there was 8 columns. You see how I got n minus 1? All right, so let's move forward here. Row 2, same thing. We can place it in n minus 1 ways, the domino, and so on. Now the good news is we know the number of rows. It's 10. So that means for each of these 10 rows, the number of ways we can place the domino is n minus 1. So the total is n minus 1 times 10 rows. All right, so that takes care of the horizontal. Now let's turn our attention to the vertical. And what I mean by that is basically I'm going to now put the domino in this direction. So 1, 2, 3, like that, and 4, and so on. Well, because there's 10, I can easily figure out how many times it goes. It goes 9 times. So let's make a very similar table. So in the first column, how many times can I place that domino? I can do it in 9 ways. In the second column, in how many ways can I place the domino? Another 9. And in the third column, another 9, and you get the point, right? Dot, 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 and so on. Well, what's the total? Well, there's n columns, and for each column, there's 9 ways of placing the domino. So n times 9. And there you go. Now we have to add up these. These are the number of ways that you can place the domino horizontally. And this represents the number of ways you can place the domino vertically. So 10 times n minus 1 plus 9n is equal to, they give you the total, 2004. And now you just solve for this. So 10n minus 10 plus 9n is equal to 2004. So that means you got 19n is equal to 2004 plus 10. So that's 2014. And therefore n is equal to 2014 divided by 19, which is 106. And since n represented the number of columns, this diagram has 106 columns. So number 25, the answer is B.